this day and age of confusion, many people wonder, what is really Kundalini Yoga? What is Siddha Kundalini Yoga? What is Siddha healing? What is Siddha ritual? What is Siddha Tantra? And you may find online all kinds of sources which will tell you that Siddha is this, Siddha is that. We have to understand that through the corruption of knowledge and lineages for the past 5,000-7,000 years, there are droplets of true knowledge that has remained. And this knowledge is parampara. This knowledge is in the form of transmission. This knowledge is to help the person or an individual who is mature by grace, their own maturity, to get access to the source of inner knowledge, to activate that source that would reconnect the individual being with the ultimate being. Siddha teaching, Siddha healing is not about rituals. It's not about trinkets. That's what everyone has to understand. If you look for trinkets, if you look for some kind of crystals, shamanic magic type of knowledge where you would need to do something, where you would need to be pushed to action, and it will entertain you, you have to understand that is very far from yoga. That is very far from true pathless path of siddhas, because the only path which is true and which is path to siddhahood, which means self-perfection, refinement, is within. It requires a lot of observation and a lot of contemplation, work on inner refinement and understanding of multidimensionality of self. Some people think that if they use different kind of tools, magical tools, alchemical tools, herbs, and so on, these are different Siddha arts, which have nothing to do with the path of refinement, awakening, enlightenment. Many people confuse all these words, Kundalini, Shaktipat. They just know that or think that they are very popular and they use them because it's commercially correct. It attracts people. Siddha beings never look for followers, never look for disciples or anything like that, because it's very rare. If a lineage has to be passed on to someone, it will be one person. The rest of the people may have a chance to refine themselves through the presence of that Siddha being or through a certain Siddha teaching. The essence of true teaching is always direct transmission, inner experience, inner refinement, inner work through life, through the world, through communication, interaction with other people, other species. Not through communication with ghosts, entities, demons, crystals, and other type of illusionary tools. So it's very important to understand, if you look for healing, you have to look for inner shift. You have to be mature to accept and understand the reasons behind your current diseased or ill state. And with the power of consciousness, with the power of conscious shift, you are able to realize the root causes. And the healing, the process of healing and unblocking will happen automatically. This is the message. And when people talk about Kundalini as energy, when they talk about Shaktipat as passing of some energy, they don't understand what they're saying, or they haven't realized what that process is all about, or they haven't been taught, or they haven't awakened. They just use the terms. Because true awakening is the beginning. It has to result in deeper refinement, stillness, and possibility to integrate the ultimate into the subtle and the subtle into the physical, where that which is the ultimate can eventually emanate through the physical. And that's the power of true transmission. It's always permanent, endless. No one can add or subtract it. It's just there. It's not the experience because you are in some place, or because you do some puja, or because you do some tantric act, or because you perform Vashikarana attraction of disciples in your ashram, so that people feel this vibration and this waves in your particular place, in your ashram, in your cave. But once they go away, there is nothing. The gift of Siddhas is to awake that same mechanism of conscious reconnection with the ultimate within each individual, the ready individual, the mature, the individual that wants it, not the individual that looks for a solution of their temporary transitory problems. Because these kind of individuals find the spirituality according to their level. If you look for solutions, you will find those solutions, or you will find means to resolve those problems eventually, or at least you will think that you found those. But spirituality is not for resolving problems. It's an inner goal, inner pull, which cannot be described, which happens only within rare individuals, mature souls who came with this particular purpose. They didn't come here to proclaim anything. They didn't come here to look for improvement of their lifestyle. They came to learn. And this knowledge becomes eventually, through awakening, the self-born knowledge within themselves. They become the fountain of that knowledge. They become the fountain of yoga and integration within themselves. And they become eventually the fountain of immortality for themselves. That's the Siddha knowledge, that's the Siddha science. And healing means that during the process of refinement, you heal yourself naturally. If you heal yourself, you become that spot of healing yourself. Once you become the source of healing yourself, you are able to emanate such vibrations around you. With your presence, you are able to heal silently, effortlessly, by being who you are, by emanating your purity, your selflessness, and your knowledge. Knowledge is radiation. It's a wave. It's like gamma ray. You don't see it, but it's there. And it affects our being because we are of a nature of different radiation. The radiation we haven't explored yet scientifically. But spiritually, those who have experienced themselves in the higher way will know that. And that's the path and the science of Siddhas. Siddhas are not shamans. Siddhas have never established temples. Siddhas have never established any sort of statues except for maybe healing purpose. And very rarely. It was in case of Bogar who established the statue for healing people because he knew that Kali Yuga was coming. But in other cases, Siddha's teachings were only powerful transmission. And this transmission was able to change and shift the perspective of the beings and was able to reconnect these beings with the ultimate reality of the self, with other dimensions of the self. When you look for something, especially spiritually, always question your motives, because your motives will define the chances to find either something true or something false. If you look for all kinds of transitory solutions, you will find transitory solutions. If you're looking for permanence, permanence will dawn on you. And this is the only principle.